The following is an EHC media production.
Hey guys, this is Mike Larkin, podcaster and now soon to be owner of TalkingWrestling.com. That's right, it's TalkingWrestling.com. Check it out on Facebook, TalkingWrestling.com. Website is under construction, it's going to be soon out there, and the premise behind TalkingWrestling.com is I'm a guy who loves professional wrestling, and this is a site for all professional wrestling fans, and I've been blessed to work with a lot of great people. Max Wrestling Podcast, RWT, Impact Bodega, The Heelcast, the whole nine. So you're going to see a lot of content shared on the Facebook page, TalkingWrestling.com. My interviews with the likes of Amber Nova, Jimmy Rave, Casey Lennox, Brian Pillman Jr., etc., etc. You got Max Wrestling Podcast going to be shared there, RWT, Heelcast, Impact Bodega, etc., etc. The goal is to accentuate these podcasts. It's a website coming soon for all wrestling fans. But first and foremost, check out Facebook.com, TalkingWrestling.com. You won't be disappointed. More details coming soon. It's an exciting time for professional wrestling, and it's going to be an exciting site and overall experience for all individuals involved, and just to share a lot of great content for a lot of great wrestling fans. Check it out, Facebook.com/TalkingWrestling.com. Website coming soon. Thank you all very much.
EWA.
Do you play WWE 2K18 on the PS4? Would you like to play against other like-minded players in a very unique online league that's unique because we are more committed to storylines than just a straight-up competitive league. The league is still very competitive, but we also try to run things like a bit of a TV show. Check out the YouTube channel and the Facebook page in the description below if you're interested.
The Max Wrestling Promo Championship returns this November at Promo Series 3.
The warning was given. Make sure your windows are locked and your doors are shut. The butcher can get in. He will get in. You, my friend, have been chosen. You should have kept everyone safe.
All paths lead to this point. Throughout this year I've beaten heroes, yes men, legends, and there's only one left, and that's you. You're not looking to beat Lesnar, you're looking for someone to end you. I'll do what Lesnar should have done 2 years ago, and that is put a shotgun to the back of Old Yellow's head and pull the trigger.
For years I have watched legends come and go, and now it is time to make my mark. The nuclear war is coming, and trust me, you're gonna get front row seats. And bring your gas mask, because it's gonna be toxic.
The time has come. The path of the butcher is over.
And then came the storm that threatened to ruin everything. The Butcher versus Tony Kirkendall.
Trust me. I know my shit. I analyze, I watch, and I predict. And at the end of it, do you know what I'm gonna say? I told you so.
No need for an introduction. You know who I am. Seems to be there's someone who is dying for my attention.
It's an amazing rivalry that was producing a lot of super awesome promos, and I was like, oh, this is so exciting. And then those guys tried to kill each other. Love you both, by the way. And then one day later, they somehow become like a tag team and start taking on all these other guys.
The butcher is gonna slay and maim, put you on my wall, wrap this bitch up, go home, pod, promo, champion.
And the Promo Climax tournament will begin in 2 weeks to determine the new champion. So, if you think you can pick up the mic and cut like a machete, get in touch with us, or indeed with Amir on RWT. You know where to find us at Max Wrestling UK.
What's going on, RWT family? This is Mike Larkin, and welcome to episode 8 of The Future Is Now, the 205 and NXT SummerSlam Takeover Go Home shows. And let's jump right into it with some 205 Live. Alrighty, let's get into 205 Live this week. We saw an opening matchup between Akira Tozawa versus Lio Rush, the man that came to collect. And what a rematch it was, guys, because we saw both quickness from both men, you know, with the dives, the kick from Lio Rush to Akira Tozawa, the sentons, the suicide dive. I mean, it was really good, I gotta say. These two have great chemistry together. The finishing sequence came when Tozawa puts a octopus stretch onto Lio Rush. Tozawa gets Rush to his knees. Rush gets back to his feet, and he takes Tozawa down and gets a near fall. Rush then hits a spinning heel kick for a near fall, then goes up top with Tozawa with a jumping palm strike. Tozawa goes for a superplex, but Rush blocks it. Rush drops Tozawa to the mat, hits him with the frog splash. The final hour for the 1, 2, 3, and Lio Rush is your victor. It was a great rematch. I mean, it's going to elevate Lio Rush more, and I'm going to say this right now again. My early prediction for that Cruiserweight Championship match at SummerSlam is that I'd love to see Gulak win, because we're going to talk about those videos, the hype videos, but man, it's got to be Cedric and Lio Rush for that title, and I could see Lio Rush taking it off of Cedric Alexander, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, 23-year-old piece of gold. Then we get a video hyping Drew Gulak working out and just pretty much saying he's going to make Cedric Alexander tap out and take the Cruiserweight Championship. Great hype video. He says he possesses leadership with his actions in the ring. The way he will dismantle Cedric at SummerSlam is a perfect example. Cedric has not faced anyone like him. Cedric is a loner, and he has gone complacent and feels entitled. Drew says he would represent not only himself as the greatest submission specialist, he would represent a generation where he locks on the Gulak and Cedric will tap out. So, I mean, it was just the intensity by Gulak. Jack Gallagher's warming up for his matchup against Cedric Alexander in the back. And in the back, we see Mustafa Ali and what happened last week in his match with Hideo Itami. And Drake Maverick is asked about his condition by Dasha Fuentes. Not Dasha Fuentes, I'm sorry, Kayla. I think her name is Kayla Braxton. I'm so used to Dasha Fuentes, excuse me. Drake says that Ali has suffered from exhaustion. Drake says he has to take some of the blame. The matches that Ali has been having, you know, with the likes of Buddy Murphy, Hideo Itami, etc., have taken a lot out of him. And he says that Ali will not return to the ring until he's 100%. Hideo Itami talks about that match with Mustafa Ali, speaks in Japanese, and then he says that he stopped the heart of 205 Live, and he pretty much ended Mustafa Ali. Which brings us into our next matchup, which is Hideo Itami against a young man by the name of Trent Newman. Trent got a couple shots in, a couple elbows, but it was just Hideo Itami, coming out there, just telling everybody to respect him. Hits a clothesline, hits a Falcon Arrow, hits kicks in the corner, the hesitation drop kicks, but still, as with the Falcon Arrow and the shots that he gives him, he keeps lifting him back up. Hits the hesitation drop kicks in the corner. The referee calls for the bell because Trent Newman's out. So Hideo Itami wins the matchup via referee stoppage, and then afterwards he hit that swinging face buster that he's been doing and just lays out him, friggin' Trent Newman again, and just Hideo Itami's dominance right here, just showing why we should respect him and why he's the so-called Japanese legend. Well, he has the adopted name of Kenta Kobashi Kenta, so there we go. We then see the hype video with Cedric Alexander. He says that he's been training for the match harder than any other that he's had. Drew Gulak is a tough opponent. With Gallagher and Kendrick at Gulak's side, it makes him more dangerous. Cedric says he's ready. It's always he's always been ready, but you don't have to worry about the variables. Excuse me. Cedric says he's a man of action, while Drew likes to talk. Cedric points out that he's undefeated in 2018 and that he's the soul of 205 Live. No one respects this brand more than him. If you want a better 205 Live Drew Gulak, show it to him. Try to make him tap out, because once he hits the lumbar check, it's over. Then we're back with Drake Maverick, who has Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese in his office. And then we find out that next week we are going to see the Lucha House Party versus Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy in a Tornado Tag Team matchup. And also we found out next week that we're going to get the rubber match as Noam Dar, the Scottish Supernova, goes one-on-one with TJP. And in our main event, we have Cedric Alexander versus Jack Gallagher one-on-one 5 days before the match with Gulak at SummerSlam. It was really good. Gallagher doing his thing, just locking on the submissions, working on the cravat, the neck vice, just working on the overall body, the hands, the arm, the wrists of Cedric Alexander. The finishing sequence comes where Gallagher and Alexander exchange forearms. Alexander hits a back heel kick. Gallagher counters the lumbar check into a guillotine. Alexander counters into Falcon Arrow. The referee starts to count, but they both get up before the 10 count. Gallagher goes to the apron, then he sends Alexander to the apron. Alexander with a boot, then he goes for the springboard, the detonation kick, but Gallagher moves. Gallagher with a running drop kick into the corner that we've seen him do many a times, but Alexander gets his foot on the rope. Great ring awareness. Then Jack Gallagher out of nowhere hits a gut wrench power bomb, which is the Doctor Bomb, a la shades of the late great Dr. Death Steve Williams for a 2 count. And then out of nowhere, Spanish Fly, standing Spanish Fly for the 1-2-3. Cedric Alexander is your victor. He's your winner. Then all of a sudden, he goes up the ramp. Brian Kendrick attacks him. Alexander with some forearms, and then he hits the clothesline to Gallagher out the ring. He hits the Brian Kendrick goes for the captain's hook, Alexander counters into the lumbar check, and after he fights off Gallagher and Kendrick, here comes Gulak from behind with the Gulak, and Alexander passes out to the pain. And Drew Gulak holds up the championship, saying he's going to be the Cruiserweight Champion. So that ends 205 Live for this week. And it was very solid. It was a nice go-home edition for the kickoff matchup that we're going to see between Alexander and Gulak for the Cruiserweight Championship. So now that we previewed what we're going to see in the kickoff of SummerSlam, let's talk about the go-home show for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn for this Saturday on the WWE Network. Let's talk about this week's edition of NXT. We opened with a matchup between the Street Profits and Shane Thorne and Nick Miller. This match was really good. The athleticism of Montez Ford and just the tag team maneuvers, the moonsault by Montez Ford, the double team there, the double back suplex. I mean, these two have, pretty good chemistry with each other. And I personally, I dig them. I dig the Mighty. I've always liked TM61. I think the Street Profits are very entertaining, and I know some people don't like them, which is fine because they're kind of like NXT's version of Crime Time. The finish sequence came when Montez Ford tags in, hits a series of forearms followed by clotheslines. Ford is sent to the apron and Thorne misses a clothesline. Ford with an elbow to Thorne and a kick to Miller on the floor. Thorne goes for a roll-up for a near fall, but Ford rolls through, and as we saw, Shane Thorne had a handful of tights. Montez Ford rolls through with a handful of tights of his own for the 1-2-3. So the Mighty get a taste of their own medicine. Street Profits get they win by cheating, by beating the Mighty, and they celebrate into the crowd. And that was the first matchup. Then we see Ali and Shayna Baszler backstage, and Baszler is giving Aaliyah some advice and instructions on how to wear down Kairi Sane for their upcoming matchup at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn between Shayna and Kairi, and their upcoming matchup that we're going to have here on NXT. We go to the Undisputed Era, and they talk about having to face Mustache Mountain in Brooklyn. Roderick reminds Kyle that he almost ripped off Trent Severn's knee. Kyle says Trent is lying and saying that he's 100%. If he's 100%, and that means they're 500%. Strong talks about Mustache Mountain attacking them and the challenge from War Raiders. Bobby Fish says that using clever to describe War Raiders and Mustache Mountain is a first time for them. The titles will stay with the Undisputed Era. Cole says last year the Undisputed Era started and it continues to dominate. Cole says he showed Ricochet he's not hiding behind anything, and neither are Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly. So this previews the Adam Cole Ricochet NXT North American Championship matchup and the tag title matchup between Undisputed Era and Mustache Mountain. Then we get to Kairi Sane and Aaliyah. Shayna Baszler comes out and is on commentary. This is pretty much just Sane and Aaliyah going back and forth. Aaliyah got some shots in, she did what she did. It was a very nice head scissors, roll up, and a stretch muffler by Kairi Sane on Aaliyah. This just ends with kicks and forearms, the running forearm into the corner. Just Kairi Sane just staring down Shayna Baszler because, she said she doesn't have that killer instinct. Well, Kairi Sane showed it with 3 elbows, the friggin' insane elbows that Kairi Sane does. It was just amazing. It was great to see just the intensity, staring back at her, points at her after the insane elbow drops, 3 of them, I may add. She puts Aaliyah in the anchor, and Aaliyah taps out, 1, 2, 3. They have a stare down. It was nice. It was nice intensity for it. Then we showed the video package for the North American title match between Adam Cole and Ricochet. Cole mentions that he won War Games and became the first North American champion. Ricochet says he's a guy who can do things that are not many can do. There's only one Ricochet, and he makes it look good. Ricochet says he's held his hands in that title belt in New Orleans. Cole says that there are these types of superstars. They are good, great, and special. Ricochet is good. He can't be great, but he's not special. Ricochet says that Cole is hiding behind the title. Cole says that the North American Championship is special because who's holding it. Ricochet says that we need a champion who will make the title the most important in NXT. Ricochet says that it will hurt more when Cole's name is removed from that title and replaced with Ricochet. Then we get to the segment. Velveteen Dream comes out saying that, EC3 is funny. He's so smart. EC3 is so clever. EC3 is so charming. Just like all of you, EC3 had the Dream's curiosity. Now he has something that the Dream says you do not want. He has his attention. EC3 comes out, asks what it sounds like when doves cry, mocking Velveteen Dream for being a la Prince. He asks Dream he has he tells him he has a sick fanny pack, mocking the fanny pack that he's wearing. He knows what Dream is trying to do, and he tells him not to get into sick and twisted minds. He has, so much in people's minds, and he says that Dream is a fixer-upper. He says that he is season that a time to fight has come. He will claim victory after victory after victory. He says there's no after victory. This Saturday in Brooklyn, it's dream over for EC3. Just go back and watch this. What I'm saying doesn't do it justice. It's an amazing segment. And then an all-out brawl goes out. EC3 hits the 1%er on Velveteen Dream after Velveteen goes for the rolling Death Valley driver. Lays out Velveteen Dream prior to, going into their matchup at TakeOver Brooklyn, which I'm looking forward to. Velveteen Dream, Patrick Clark, whatever you call him, has improved leaps and bounds. We've seen it in the ring. EC3 is great at what he does. It's a great dynamic between 2 great personalities and characters, and it's going to be an excellent matchup. So I'm personally looking forward to it. We get the video package for Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Gargano's obsession, and that he's going to, as long as he's breathing, he's not, Tommaso Ciampa's not going to be the NXT champion. Tommaso Ciampa just said, hey boy, like he does, I'm going to end the fairy tale of Johnny Gargano. It's great. It's what it needed to be. It was excellent. It really was great for what it was. Then we see Bianca Belair getting ready for her return after injury, training, coming back harder, stronger than ever. And then we see that next week we're going to get a rematch of what happened in the United Kingdom Championship Tournament 2 as Pete Dunne defends the UK Championship against the winner of the UK Tournament, the man he beat in England, Mr. Zach Gibson. So we're going to get a rematch between Pete Dunne and Zach Gibson for the UK Championship next week on NXT TV. Then we get the main event of Tyler Bate and Roderick Strong. These two, oh my god, backbreakers, lariats, running shooting star press. This was an incredible matchup. We've seen these two go at it before. It was an amazing matchup. This finishing sequence came when Bate sends a Strong back into the ring and Bate follows. Bate sets up for the Tyler Driver 97, but Kyle O'Reilly's on the apron. Trent Severn takes care of Kyle. Strong hits 7, and he hits an enziguri on Bale. Bale with a forearm and the rolling kick. Then he hits him with the Tyler Driver 97 for the 1, 2, 3. Tyler Bate builds momentum into the matchup at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn with Trent Severn. The stare down at the end. It was a great edition of NXT. Two great solid editions of NXT and 205 Live for the go home for SummerSlam, the matchup on the kickoff between Cedric and Gulak for the Cruiserweight Championship. And we saw a lot of progression going into NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane, Mustache Mountain and the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole and Ricochet, EC3 and the Velveteen Dream. 5 epic matchups of epic proportions that we're going to see at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn this week. Highlighted Cedric and Gulak for SummerSlam on the kickoff. Very solid additions going forward into both shows, going into the SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver Brooklyn weekend. What an edition of NXT, what an edition of 205 Live. Pete Dunne and Zach Gibson, the rematch from the UK tournament for the UK Championship next week on NXT. And guys, thank you all very much for listening. Prediction show coming on my end very soon and with Max Wrestling. Check out RWT on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, the whole 9. My name is Mike Larkin. This will end the Future Is Now Episode 8. I'll be back next week with Episode 9 covering 205 Live, which features the rubber match between Noam Dar and TJP and Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy versus the Lucha House Party in a Tornado Tag Team matchup. And I'll be covering NXT as well, also with the rematch between Pete Dunne and Zach Gibson for the WWE United Kingdom Championship. Stay tuned. I'll be back next week. Everyone have a great night and enjoy NXT TakeOver Brooklyn Saturday and SummerSlam on Sunday. Take care and God bless you, my friends.